Anand Grover, respond to that. There's a sense that, this is a contentious issue. It is diverse. It polarizes society. And therefore, you have to listen to other views. And that's what the court has done, a delicate balancing act, quite apart from saying that the right to marry is not a fundamental right.
Well, I would agree with Mahesh that you have to, that's the essence of democracy. You have to listen to everybody else. You have to convince the others of your point of view. And that is the effort that we will make, irrespective of the composition of the parliament. And I agree with him that the composition keeps changing. It'll be our endeavor, as it was earlier during the period of decriminalization of 377 and sexual relations between non-heterosexual couples, also to approach parliamentarians, state legislatures. So that door is always open. The court has said go, but we are also going to pursue legal remedies in court.
You're going to pursue further legal remedies in court?
Well, everybody is going to, may not be now, maybe in the future. There also composition changes. There also sensitization occurs. Everybody knows that over a period of time, people change their views. And that's the essence of how things happen. So since justice is on our side, I agree with Arvind and Swatik. We will win and we will get equality in marriage. We will persuade others, those who are not with us or they're inimical to us. We will show them that in our ancient societies, this was permissible. There's a wrong notion that it was not.
In fact, I want to take what you just said, Anand, to Satvik and Arvind. Satvik, you first. There's a sense that, conservative Indian society is reluctant to allow same-sex marriage. This is not the Western world. This is India. What will you tell all those people listening to you there today? Many of them have said this is an elitist issue. Today, Justice Chandrachud made it clear he didn't see this as an elitist issue. But in general, what would you tell conservative Indians who say this is the right judgment? We are not ready for same-sex marriages in this country. It will, in a way, create disruption in society.
I think that that's an extremely myopic view of the way our great civilization has evolved over the last 5,000 years. I would say to these people, go and look at your own scriptures. Go, rather than listening to other people, go and actually read what's written in those scriptures. And you'll see that there were times in our history way before modern laws, where non-heterosexual unions were not just permissible, but were celebrated. And so I would say that, let there be a national discussion. I agree with all the panelists. We need to now get down to brass tacks. We need to now have these conversations with people on the ground, and we need to change opinions on the ground. And in my personal experience, even with people who have been sort of conservative as traditionally defined, a lot of this flows from, misinformation or not having thought about this enough. And the moment you challenge people to think about this enough, very quickly, these sorts of opinions can change.
Arvind, do you believe opinions are changing, or is conservative India still reluctant to accept same-sex marriages? Do you believe in the next few years you'll be able to change my opinion as you were with decriminalizing homosexuality?
Presley, the world has changed quite dramatically. That's what I believe. If you come to our state Karnataka, we have a novelist who's writing books in Kannada for the first time called Vasudendra, writing gay stories in Kannada. And if you look at family members, again, this is indicates a big shift. We have family members, parents of LGBT persons, coming on your show and various other shows, looking, as it were, very conservative, wearing a sari, etc., making the case that we must recognize the right to marry. So what does that tell you? It tells you that there is a section of Indian population which is very ready, saying that, we need to change. And my point is simply this.
Is it a small section? Is it a small section though, Arvind? Is it, there'll be people watching this show will say, these are marginal groups. What are you going to tell those who say that these do not represent mainstream India?
The point you'd make is, as Justice Chandrachud and Justice Kaul made the point, that the question of sexual orientation, gender identity traverses class, caste, gender, and strata, social strata. So it could be very well be possible that within your own family, your son or your daughter could be lesbian or gay, your child could be transgender, and then you'll have to cope with that reality yourself. So it's very, very important for us all to develop a broader sense of humanity and say that, this might be our reality, and we need to recognize and respect the diverse ways of living in this particular world. And that's the essence of a democracy, where you take the point very seriously that diversity is the heart of our constitutional order, and that's something we choose to respect and take forward. And if you look at Justice Kaul's opinion, he makes the point of diversity from the point of view of Indian culture as well. So if you look at, again, work by Salim Kidwai and others, they make the point that there's a history and tradition of same-sex love in this country going back to 2500 BC. That's our tradition, that's our culture. So we just need to try and get a wider awareness around these tradition and culture questions so that we convince a larger and larger number of our own people that this is the way forward.
Satvik, 17 years to decriminalize homosexuality. You're hopeful that within the next decade you'll be back in India
Again,
to celebrate a same-sex union?
I was hopeful that I would be back in India tomorrow to celebrate same-sex unions. 17 years, I mean, it's a good yardstick to compare. However, I think 17 years was too long coming. I think we should have done this yesterday, but, given what's happened, I am hopeful that this will happen sooner rather than later.
Okay.